Hi, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I hope you're all doing well. I see we have some individuals who are trickling in here joining us live, and so that's great. I have a few announcements here. And also, for those of you, if this is your first time joining us, welcome. We're really excited to have you here in our community. My name's attorney Megan Pastrana, and my firm, Immigration for Couples, is dedicated exclusively to helping couples across the nation and across the world in navigating the US immigration process. And so we host these weekly live chats so I can answer your questions live, your most burning immigration questions. And I always like to start out by asking, where are you at in your immigration journey? Where are you at in the world? And most importantly, how are you doing? All right. And I know we have some regulars here who know the drill. And Lisa, you are always in unique places. Sometimes you're at the salon. Today you're at the car wash. So good morning. Great to see you here. Robert in California, welcome. So great to have you. Phil and Ann, I see you. So great to have you back. You're in Thailand and you're all set for the medical exam on July 20th. You're getting so close, and the interview on the 19th. Yes, being able to see the end in sight is so great. And you're very, very welcome. We're thrilled, and we're all celebrating you. So you can keep us posted. And everybody in this community, you're letting everybody know, that you have this medical exam, and the interview is so great. So other couples, if you're just starting out or in the middle, use Phil and Ann here as an inspiration that you will get to the finish line. So congratulations. Super happy for you. All right. And Ginger, good morning. I know you're in the UK. So you're at the very first stage of filing of your receipt notice. So it is a good feeling. And it's a lot warm right now. There's like a heat dome, right? Over all of us. So great to have you here this week. Maria, thank you very much. That's very sweet. Yes, I had a very nice birthday weekend, and I really appreciated all the love that I got from my team and all of you. So thank you very much for the birthday wishes. I appreciate it. And you're waiting for your man for our Canadian Eastern via tour. That's awesome. All right. Yay, Jose, it's so good to see you. You're in Houston, and you finally sent your application to the National Visa Center in Colombia 2 weeks ago. And so I'm guessing, do you mean that you submitted everything online on the SEAC account, and then you received a notice saying that your case is documentarily qualified? If so, then you're in line for an interview. And typically it takes a few months for our clients in Colombia specifically, and you can use that interview estimator tool. Ria could throw that video in as well that I made talking about that tool with the link. But yeah, usually a few months. So that's great news. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I appreciate it. All right. So we have lots of people still joining us here. So that's awesome. I do have a couple announcements, and then I will dive into answering questions. First, again, as I mentioned, if you're new here, welcome. Great to have you. We do, in addition to this weekly live chat, have a ton of free resources for all of you. So whether you're just starting out or in the middle of your immigration journey, we have a free relationship evidence guide. I created a webinar where I walk through all of the different options. All of these resources are 100% free, and they're on our website. Ria can throw that link in here. Ria's part of our team. She's here helping me moderate. So you can throw that in if you would, Ria. Yep, so she's got them in there. And then also, I do have a book that we released earlier in the year. It's something that I worked on for a very long time. It's called Navigating Love and Immigration. I know some of you in the community supported the book and purchased it and left reviews, so thank you very much. But this is available on our website and on Amazon. The very front of the cover has couples that my team and we have assisted navigating their immigration journey, and they provide their insight and advice in one of the chapters as well. But inside the book, there is information on the different options, going through the process, proving your relationship. So that's available as well. And a big announcement, the last one I have before we get into the questions here today, is for the month of July in celebration of Independence Day and summer and all of that stuff. For the month of July, we have a special, a discount that you will receive by scheduling a consultation. So if you book a consultation with me to talk about your immigration case and how our firm can help you, that consultation fee is $350 and it's credited towards the cost of your case. That's what we always do. You always get that credit back from the consultation. But what we're doing special in July is we're giving you an additional $150. So it'll be $500 towards the cost of your case. And this will be available only through July. So if you book a consultation this month and hire this month, you will be able to benefit from that additional credit or savings. So Ria will throw that link in as well if you're wanting to schedule a consultation. All right. That's why I have my Independence Day, 4th of July flowers. We're all already here. All right. And good morning. Good morning to you as well. You're in the Philippines, and hello to you as well. All right. So let's dive into these questions here. It looks like Betty is up first. So Betty, and good morning to you. Your form I-129F just got approved 7.5 months from filing. And from your experience, approximately how long will it take to get the interview? Congratulations. That's really exciting to have that approval. Yep, in 7.5 months, about what we're seeing, 8 months, give or take right now. So that's great. And then from there, after your petition is approved, your case is transferred through the National Visa Center onto the consular post. So you're in Canada, so Montreal. And that transfer process usually takes a few months, about 4 months on average. And then from there, you'll be able to schedule, receive that interview date. And typically our clients from Canada, we typically receive that a few months after the transfer is complete, sometimes sooner. So I would say from approval, from your petition approval date, the time that it takes for your case to be transferred, arrive at the embassy, and then being able to schedule an interview, you're probably looking at about 6 months, give or take. Could be less, could be a little more, but on average, that's kind of what we're seeing currently. So, all right, Damien. So I know you've been waiting on your adjustment of status application, and you said it's been 4 months now. So no RFE, that's good. No request for evidence, that's a good thing. And you filed the 485 at the same time with the petition. You're still waiting for your work permit. You did your biometrics. Still no decision. You know, what can you do? And so I know we had talked about this last time, and just to kind of do a little bit of a refresher of what we had discussed, not receiving a decision after you have filed your adjustment of status application for many months is common. On average, it's about a year to get through the adjustment of status process. We're definitely seeing some states that adjustment applications are moving faster, especially in certain categories where we've had people receive interviews as quickly as 4 to 6 months. Every case is different, but on average, it does take a while to get a decision in an interview. Not receiving an RFE, like I said, that's a good thing. Work permits are estimated at about 6 months right now. And remember, like I always say here, is that immigration wait times, the estimates they provide are just that, estimates. Immigration wait times are fluid, always changing. And so while the estimate for work permits is 6 months, we definitely see people who receive their work permit in a few months, others where it takes 6.5. But you're getting closer, and that's great that you received the biometrics. In terms of what you can do, wait. I know waiting is often the hardest thing to do, but waiting is just a part of the process. All right. So good luck. Hopefully one of these next live events, you'll come to us and let us know, keep us updated if you feel like doing that. But yeah, let us know. And hopefully one of the next times you will have a work permit. All right. So let's see who's next in the queue. All right. And I know some of you are just now joining us. So if you are, please throw in the comments, where are you at in the world? Where are you at in your immigration case? And how are you doing? How are you feeling? All right. I lost my place. Okay, so Phil and Anne, yep, you had given your update. That's awesome. Okay. Okay, so Rick, good morning to you as well. Your fiance visa from Vietnam for the financial sponsor bank statements. Can I print out my own bank statements? And how long? 1 or 2 years worth of data. And will a house deed work as an assist? Okay, so Rick, your question, and let me get a drink of water here. Mm, So your question, you're basically asking for the affidavit of support piece. In other words, proving that you as a petitioner have enough income and resources to be able to financially support your fiance is the requirement that you're working on making sure that you meet. And so the starting point for the affidavit of support, the very um, the standard evidence that's required is going to be tax returns and income information. So if you are currently employed, if you are employed by a company and receive a W 2, I mean, sometimes as an entrepreneur, you have a W 2 as well. Having those tax returns from the past 3 years with W-2s or tax transcripts, paycheck stubs, proof of income, as long as your income and tax returns, all of that shows that you make enough income, then typically that's it. That's what you need to provide. Otherwise, if you don't, so if you don't have a job or you don't have enough income or you're currently not working for whatever reason or retired, I'm just throwing out some examples. If you don't have that income stream from a job, then the next level or layer rather of evidence that you can provide is assets. And so I know that's what you're asking about. And so assets can be a house, like you asked, does the deed work? Yes, that's a great asset to use. Understand that if you're using a home, that the value of the home is going to be what the appraised value is minus what you still owe on the home. If you don't owe anything and don't have a mortgage, great. But when you're using assets, your assets have to be more than the standard income requirement. They have to be at least 3 times. And so a house is a great asset to show that equity. And then also, like you're saying, bank statements. Yes, using a bank account is definitely an option. Immigration wants to see a rolling 12-month period of bank account statements, so a year. And also, please understand that they take an average. So if one of those months you had 100,000 and then you went down to 50 and then 10 and then back up a little, it's going to be an average of those numbers, not just the most recent. And then other assets to think about would be retirement accounts. So maybe you have retirement accounts or savings accounts. Those are options as well. So Rick, I hope that helps clarify, and I'm sure that helps others too. The affidavit of support piece is always very, very involved, a lot of moving parts. So great question. All right, who is next here? Okay. Oh, and you're in Iowa. Welcome. It's great to have you. And so, Jose, we went over your question. Okay, so Robert, this has been a question that I've received a lot, and I recently made a video that'll be released soon, but let's definitely talk about it here today. So are prenups good to include with the submission of your petition as evidence of a bona fide marriage? The prenup is a long document, 22 pages. Prenups are a great idea for any couple who is getting married. Prenups sometimes I know have a bad reputation, and it doesn't feel great, right? To have to be thinking about what if our marriage ends, how would we handle our assets and what we come to the table with. But it is a great way to protect both parties going into a marriage. It doesn't mean that you're not in love. It doesn't mean that you don't see a future together. So it's a great tool for any couple who's getting married. And to answer your question, typically you're not going to want to include a prenup in your application. I never would have a client include a prenup in any kind of application to immigration where you're proving you have a bona fide relationship. I understand the logic that some individuals might say that it could prove that you have a bona fide relationship, but just as we talked about the reputation of prenup agreements, and just the initial reaction that people have, understand that immigration officers are going to come into reviewing your case with their own bias and their own opinions about a prenup. And so it's better to just not include a prenup. There's way more other categories of evidence that's much more helpful to proving your case. Joint finances, photos together, proof of your trips, proof of communication, um, text messages, letters sent, family support, all kinds of things that are way better evidence than a prenup. So great question. Okay. So let's see. I'm trying to see why. I want to see which is the next question. And I want to make sure I'm not skipping anyone. So there we go. Hopefully I didn't. Because Ria has the resources in there and I was just going through those. Okay. All right. So, and you're in Pakistan, your girlfriend is from the US, and you're both in love, and we both watch your channel regularly for guidance. Oh, well, thank you. All right. I was reading for a question. And so I'm really glad that the YouTube channel and all of our resources have been helpful. So best of luck to you both. That's exciting. You're just starting out on your journey of love and immigration. All right. Hello. It's great to have you here as well. Okay. So your fiance has a K1 interview in 2 weeks. Should she reschedule? Should we rescind and apply for a spouse visa? Since K1 will likely be denied, or litigate, which is faster. So all of those are viable options, and it's really going to come down to your own personal opinions and goals, in terms of, I would say, your own personal goals, not opinions, but your own choice. So all of those are possibilities. I mean, I just came back from the American Immigration Lawyers conference, and we talked about all of these being a possibility. There's a possibility of just holding off and not attending the interview. That's tricky. I'm not telling you to do that. You would definitely want to talk to an attorney. If you have an immigration attorney representing you, speak with him or her before taking any action. But holding off on the interview is an option. Waiting to see if there's more guidance. Waiting to see if anything changes with the fiance visa piece specifically. If getting married and filing the spouse visa, that's definitely a possibility as well. I wouldn't jump to that, because if you're going to get married and file for a spouse visa, you're looking at a solid 18 to 24 month wait from the beginning. That's definitely a possibility. Litigation is definitely a possibility too. Attending the interview and being prepared to ask for a national interest exception, that's a possibility. If it's denied, yes, then suing the government in litigation. In terms of which is faster, unfortunately, nothing in immigration is fast. I would say those are all definitely viable and possible options, and you really should talk with your immigration attorney. I'm happy to speak with you as well, but speaking with an immigration attorney, understanding the benefits of each, especially based on your specific case, before taking any action. So, all right. Okay, so I think I understand your question to be, is fiance visa still getting approved right now because of the travel bans and all of that. So yes, fiance visas are definitely still getting approved, and it's still a great option. But when I'm meeting with couples, something we have to take into consideration are the current travel bans. And if the immigrant beneficiary is from one of the travel ban countries, specifically the full suspension countries, looking at a spouse visa is definitely a much better option, and the path that would be recommended. So yes, fiance visas we still have couples filing them. We still have them being approved. It's not that you can't do a fiance visa at all, but there's definitely new considerations with the travel ban for sure. Okay. So you're doing your fiance visa and you're wanting to ask if your fiance needs to give a copy of the entire passport or the identification pages. What is the safest, best way to send documents, either in paper or a secure place to send them online? So when you're filing a fiance visa case, the only way to file it currently is by paper. Whether or not you have to send every page of your passport, it depends. In some cases, we do send every page of the passport, especially where there's a lot of travel history and stamps where, if both of you were taking trips and meeting in a third country, or your fiance was coming to visit you or vice versa, passport pages with stamps showing those visits or entries to the same country at the same time are very helpful. So the best way, to submit those documents is the only way that you can submit it is all by paper. That's the only way the fiance visa process is currently with immigration. They don't have an online option yet. Okay. I'm not sure if I understand your question. K1 visa joint sponsor, is it a red flag? I mean, it's not a red flag to have a joint sponsor if the petitioner doesn't make enough. You still have to, as the petitioner, provide your financial information. But if you need a joint sponsor, that in and of itself, having a joint sponsor isn't a red flag. I'm not sure if that's what you're asking, but hopefully that helps. Anna, good morning. Yes, I had a wonderful birthday. Thank you very much. And yes, you are very welcome. It's my pleasure. I really enjoy spending this time with you all every week. I know it's a stressful process going through your immigration journey. And I really think it's awesome, the community that we are creating here. It's so important to know you're not alone on your immigration journey. So you're very welcome. And thank you for saying that. All right, Joshua. Your photo is adorable. You two are very cute. Your fiance passed her interview at the embassy on June 30th. Yay! We're all celebrating you. That's super excited. The embassy gave her a slip to collect her passport with her visa on July 8th. Is there any chance the embassy will call back to pick it up earlier? Is there a possibility for a delay? Sure. All of that is possible. I would say, though, if they told her July 8th, then it probably will be July 8th. Are there some times that immigration has a delay for whatever reason, printing issues, any number of things? Sure, that's possible. But let's just focus on, yay, the visa is approved. That's super exciting. And that she's going to get it on July 8th very soon. So congratulations. All righty. Aziz, good morning to you. You're in Nigeria. Your case is documentarily qualified since last year. You checked the status and, you used the tool. That's awesome. Good. That's great. And then the immediate relative is on March of 2024 and mine is April of 2024. That means that you're getting close. So sometimes it can stay at March of 2024 for a while. It doesn't necessarily change every month, but keep an eye on it and you're getting very close. So if yours is in April, that's the next month. So you should be getting an interview soon. So congratulations. That's exciting. All right. And let's see. And I'm not sure if I follow can you start arranging your documents and include the DS-260? So the DS-260 you would have already completed to be documentarily qualified. But getting documents ready for your interview? Sure, absolutely. We get our clients' interview packets ready well before the interview is scheduled, and then we do a refresh once that interview is scheduled. So yes. Okay. Amanda, great, and very common question for those who don't actually want to come and live in the US. So you're in India, your husband wants to visit the US to meet family and have a reception. We have no plans to relocate to the US at the moment. Would we be able to get a tourist visa for him? Tourist visas are difficult to obtain, especially when a couple is already married or in an established relationship. Or another way to put it is that especially when the person who is immigrating already has a close tie to the US, be it a fiance or a spouse, because immigration issues tourist visas only in situations where a person has no intention of coming and living in the US, which I know that's exactly what you're saying. You don't want to live in the US. And in order to determine someone's intention, that's the part that gets tricky because they can't read our minds. Thank goodness. They can't read our minds. And so they look at, circumstantial evidence. So all of the things that are in your life that would indicate whether or not you're wanting to, or whether he is wanting to just come for a visit and go back. When a person already has those ties to the US, so like I said, a fiance or even just a boyfriend or girlfriend or a spouse in your case, immigration is automatically going to assume and say the intention is that you're wanting to come and live. And often what happens is that when someone applies for the tourist visa, of course, you need to be 100% honest. I know you will in that application. And as soon as they see that, that tie to the US, the girlfriend, boyfriend, fiance, spouse, they're automatically going to say that the intention is that you're wanting to come and live. And typically they'll deny the tourist visa. It doesn't mean that you can't try, but it's really important that and I know that's what you're asking that question, is that you understand the difficulty of obtaining the tourist visa, especially in this situation, and being 100% honest on the application. Is it possible? Sure. I've definitely seen some individuals still be able to obtain a tourist visa, but in a very large majority of cases, they will say, no, we cannot approve your tourist visa. You need to apply for a spouse visa, which I know is maddening because you don't want to live in the US, you just want to visit. So, but best of luck to you. I hope that helps. All right. Let's see. I'm going to do a few more and then I do need to jump and get myself some lunch before I have a very busy afternoon here. Okay. Oh, and here's your question. So if your fiance is not working and she lives with her parents, can her father be a joint sponsor? Yes, I mean that's possible. Like I had said earlier, is a petitioner, you still have to complete the financial documents and explain that you're not working. But yeah, anybody that is a US citizen or a lawful permanent resident, they don't necessarily have to be family. It can be family, it can be friends, but they can serve as a joint sponsor. So you can still go through the process. So yes. Okay. So you're located in Indiana, and you're very welcome for the advice. Your wife is here now. Congratulations. And if they sent my wife the green card and the post office returned it and you don't know the reason, what can I do for them to send it back? You need to contact USCIS. Sometimes it's hard to get through someone on the phone. You can always use the USCIS chat function as well. Sometimes that's a little easier to get someone. But yes, you need to reach out to immigration right away. USCIS also has a tool on their website. Oh, shoot, I can't remember the exact words that you would need to look it up, but it's a USCIS tool. Did not receive a document. I think that's what it is. So you can go to USCIS tools and there's a bunch of options and it says did not receive a document and you can request it again. But I would highly recommend you calling or using the chat function to get that card sent back, because once it goes to USCIS, sometimes they're quick to destroy it. So definitely chat with them and get that back. And if you have a USCIS online account, make sure your address is correct in there. Hopefully that helps. Good luck to you. Definitely get on and contact them today. So you have a week until the first approval. Congratulations. That's exciting. All right, I'll try to do a couple more here. And then, like I said, I need to jet, but I will be here again next week. Okay. So, sorry. I know I have a flurry of questions from 4 different sources, so I do my best to go in order. So, thanks for putting it back in there. I apologize I missed it. So you're wanting to know about whether or not the travel ban is going to affect your fiance in Nigeria. No, it shouldn't. It's not on the list. So he attended his document review in the embassy already, and you're waiting on the interview appointment. So that's great. So no, that would not directly impact your case. So it sounds like you're getting really close. So good luck to you. Okay. So, Belinda, you're in Texas. Can you have documents apostilled in one state when issued in several states, husband born in one state and you in another? Typically, immigration, there are some cases, I will say, that we do get apostille, but in general, it's not required. Um, is it possible to have the Secretary of State do the apostille and from another state? Yes, you'll just need to check that local guidance and see if that's possible. There's not an immigration requirement unless they sent you a request specifically for that. So, all right, great. I'm glad I answered it. Glad that was helpful. Yes, it can. Does your past abandoned case hurt your new filing? It can. Does that mean you're automatically going to get denied? No. But is it definitely a red flag and something immigration looks at? Absolutely. And so you need to be prepared to explain, what happened and be honest and have a logical explanation. So yes, it can. I've definitely seen couples who aren't aware that those prior cases are important, and then either they don't disclose them or aren't prepared to explain, and it has definitely caused issues. So just know that it can come up. Okay, so should you answer yes to the 485 question? Have you ever applied for an immigrant visa to obtain permanent residence at a U.S. embassy abroad if you were the spouse of a DV winner and both submitted the DS-260? So in terms of answering specific questions on the forms, I don't give any guidance on these lives for how to respond to questions on forms. Why? Not because I don't want to help, but because the questions that are on the forms are very, very specific and have eligibility requirements and elements and all of that. And I don't know. I don't have your entire case and immigration history in front of me. In general, though, if you have applied for some kind of benefit in the past that leads you to a permanent resident status, you're going to want to answer honestly and let immigration know, yes, that you have had a prior application in the past. But I can't tell you conclusively since I don't have all of your documents in front of me. If you have an immigration attorney, please do speak with him or her to make sure that that question is answered properly. We do a very thorough screening with our clients so we can ensure that we're answering every question accurately. So I hope you understand, and I hope that general guidance helps. You're very welcome. I hope you have a great day too. Okay, and this is my last question. I'm going to do this last question, and today I got through all of the questions. So yay, that is awesome. So you're a green card holder. You have a careless driving record since 2023 in Minnesota is the case. Highly deportation. I think you're asking if that's going to make you deportable as a green card holder, and if you're having concerns about traveling internationally. Again, this is one of those situations where if you had an immigration attorney that was helping you with the green card, definitely reach out to him or her and go over any criminal history you have so you can understand risks before traveling. It depends on what were the charges in the case and what were the ultimate convictions in that case as to whether or not it could negatively impact your green card and or make it unsafe for you to travel. All right. You are very welcome. You are all awesome too. You're surviving and thriving in this immigration journey. So hang in there. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And I will see you all next week, Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. All right, everyone. Take care. Bye.